So my name's David White, and I'm doing a double major in French and English literature here at Allison. I did theater in high school, and so when I came in my first year, I was thinking I might kind of check it out, see what was going on. So I went to the first Windsor Theater kind of meeting where at the beginning of the season they sit everyone down and kind of just do a bit of a run through, a bit of a blurb about all the shows for the upcoming season. And then Alex spoke for a bit about Tintamarre, and I was like, oh, I did French immersion. I like speaking French. And they were having a meeting right after the session, so I was like, oh, okay, might as well hang around, drop by. I'm not doing anything else. And yeah, the rest, as they say, was history.
Can you briefly explain to me what Tintamarre actually is? Like, what's the process that you go through when you're building that play?
Well, Tintamarre is unlike anything else I've ever been a part of. It's theater, but it's so collaborative, I think, is the big word to describe it. What happens is, in the beginning of the year, Alex will come and he'll have an idea. And from that idea, it might be a sentence, a word, outdoor education, food, yeah, being on a bus. Like, depending on the year, like, the ideas will change, but the process is always the same. He comes to us with that, and from there we just take off. So there's a lot of brainstorming sessions. We'll talk about different aspects. So for example, if the topic was about food, we talked about restaurants. We talked about current food issues. Somehow, whatever we do always ends up kind of being in the news. Like this year, yeah, with camp, Alex, I was talking with him over the summer, and he was mentioning how in, I think somewhere in Atlanta or somewhere down in the States, there was an airport that was clogged just because of all the traffic of people coming to drop off their kids to camp in helicopters. And Alex had already come up with the outdoor education idea, but it's kind of weird to see how life imitates art in that way. But yeah, so we'll have discussions about current events and different aspects of the idea. We'll do improvs, just short little scenes about how we might be put in a scenario like, okay, 4 people at a fast food restaurant, each one there for a different reason, and then we'll kind of go from there. And there's always a lot of talking and discussion, which is what really feeds the whole process, is all these ideas being thrown out there and discussed and kind of traded back and forth and improved upon by everyone.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, for a lot of people, you've already had a background in drama, right? At the very least in high school.
Yeah.
But I find that a lot of people in Tintamarre actually don't. So what, bit of a two-part question. What do you think makes Tintamarre capable of creating that kind of space where people can actually try out drama? And then, practically speaking, what do we do in terms of exercises and stuff that makes people comfortable and that really kind of helps with those skills?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. And it's weird because throughout the years the personnel are always changing, but somehow Tintamarre is able to keep that draw and that attraction to people who haven't done theater. So I think part of it's the reputation. It's just Tintamarre is a very welcoming community that everyone feels safe in, and I think a lot of the activities and stuff we do, the object is to just be comfortable with each other and kind of goof off a little bit, so that people who haven't done theater may, oh well, everyone else is doing it. It's not that hard. It's just kind of being silly at some points. So like we'll have some games. I guess the one that comes to mind is Bungalow, where there's this little chant and we're all in a circle, and then someone calls out someone's name and there's an exchange like, hey, Bernard, hey what, hey Bernard, hey what, let me see you Bungalow, and then Bernard will do a little like dance move type thing, and then everyone will do it together, and then Bernard would call upon the next person, and so on until everyone's had a chance. So yeah, now that I think about it, I guess that kind of encompasses a lot of Tintamarre. Someone brings an idea to the group, and the whole group kind of plays with it, and things move on that way. About
bilingualism in Tintamarre, the plays are in French and in English. Not everybody necessarily has the same comfort of language. Can you kind of speak to that, what we do in that regard?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I actually decided to study French was because of Tintamarre. I made that switch because I just enjoyed it so much. And what we do is Alex will work very carefully with the script to make sure for the spectators that you can still kind of get the general gist of what's going on, even if you don't understand English and French. You can follow what's going on. What's said isn't necessarily repeated, but ideas are, and you can follow logically that way. Like, I've got friends who will come and see the shows and not speak a word of French and still understand what's going on. In terms of the actors, Alex, he's very good about working pronunciation, I think, on that level, because a lot of French, a lot of the vowel sounds are kind of not unique, but don't always appear in English, and it's very easy to mispronounce things. So he's very careful about that, and he'll just get us to say words. It'll be like he's trying to say Tintamarre, he'll say ah, and then we'll all repeat it, mar, Tintamarre, Tintamarre, and like that. And it's just, I don't know how to describe it apart from that. It's just so magical that people who come to Tintamarre with no French background whatsoever come out able to speak their lines perfectly. Yeah.
Thank you very much for agreeing to be interviewed. Do you have anything to say in terms of, people who might see this kind of video and go, oh man, I want to start this at my school. I'm a teacher, or I'm a student, or something like that. Like, do you have anything to speak to them?
Please do. that's my number one thing. Please do. This type of learning, this type of community needs to be everywhere, because it's so cool. And like it gets people who might not necessarily be interested in theater. It gets them kind of their foot in the door, and even if you don't do anything theater wise for the rest of your life, you've got this community now, and you've bonded, and you've tried something new. And yeah, in terms of practicality, I just yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I might be able to encourage people to do. Yeah, maybe one of the things about Tintamarre, like, Alex is amazing, but he's also really blessed. Like, a lot of the people in Tintamarre, especially the ones who have been doing it for 3 or 4 years as they get better, they're really good too about being welcoming and helping the process kind of go along. So hopefully, if you're trying to start this out, you've got a kind of core group of a few really dedicated, enthusiastic people. It takes a lot of energy, I know, to run this kind of thing. So yeah, best of luck.
Cool. Well, thank you very much then.
Hey, no problem.